This is Chapter 2 on Customer Fulfillment Strategies. There are 6 learning objectives. The first one, we're going to discuss how information has empowered customers, raising the competitive bar for today's companies. Number 2, we're going to understand how customers define value and what a company must do to deliver that value. Number 3, we're going to understand nature of customer service and satisfaction. Number 4, why the end customer should be the focal point for the entire supply chain. Number 5, we're going to go through segmentation. Number 6, we're going to go through the role of operational excellence in assuring profitable customer relationships. So here's a saying by Donald E. Peterson. He's from Ford. If we aren't customer driven, our cars won't be either. So he's saying that if Ford doesn't take measures to focus on what the customers want, they won't be driving Ford cars. So for our first learning objective, we're going to understand more about how information has empowered customers. So in the first point here, it says that customers are empowered with a broad range of product and pricing information. So channel power is shifting down the supply chain towards the end customer. So the internet is a powerful source of information. So we always go to YouTube to understand more about a certain product when we decide that we want to buy something. Even the mass media provides information on capability of products. So think about it. How do you make purchase decisions? In Learning Objective 2, we're going to understand how customers define value and what a company must do to deliver that value. So companies seek to develop a distinctive advantage and differentiate themselves in the mind of the customer. Think in terms of a specific product. So for example, you're going to buy a new iPhone. Okay, so as a customer, you seek different things in a specific product. You can look at a product in terms of quality, cost, flexibility, delivery, and innovation. So we're going to go through these 5 values in the next few slides. So if companies were competing on quality, quality includes both design and manufacturing elements. Okay, so you must understand, quality does not only mean in terms of product, it also means in terms of manufacturing elements. So for product, the product must be designed to live up to or exceed customer expectations for customers to be happy. Manufacturing must then conform to the design specifications during production if you want to regard a product as being a quality product. Quality must be designed and built into the company's products and processes. So here are the 8 dimensions of quality. We have here the first one, performance. So this is fairly simple, the primary operating characteristics of the product. Number 2, we have features. So the extras that distinguish a product from competitors' offerings. Number 3, reliability, whether the product works or not. Number 4, talking about conformance. It measures how well a product matches established specifications. Number 5, talking about durability, how long it lasts before it fails. Number 6, we have serviceability, so the speed of repair when quality problems arise. Number 7, we have aesthetics, perception of the finished products. So basically how the product looks like. Number 8, we have perceived quality, overall perception of a product or brand's quality reputation. You can think of perceived quality by thinking about when we perceive a more expensive product is of higher quality. Next, we move on to companies that compete on cost. So there are 4 widely pursued cost reduction strategies. The first one is productivity enhancement. So companies can do this by implementing economies of scale. Number 2, we have adoption of advanced process technology. So, for example, automation. So this will result in lower labor cost. Number 3, we have locating facilities in countries with low cost inputs. And number 4, companies can also source from the world's most efficient suppliers. So in terms of cost, there are several strategic decisions that companies can take in order to achieve the lowest cost strategy. So they have global manufacturing rationalization, meaning that they locate their manufacturing facilities in low-cost countries. We have outsourcing, meaning that you are letting other people, for example, manufacture for you if they are able to manufacture lower cost than you. Next, you have downsizing. So the second point here, when cost performance improves, companies will achieve these things: increase in market share, increase in scale economies, improve their profitability, and also being able to invest in future capabilities. Next, we look at competing on flexibility. So flexibility is the capability for companies to adapt to new, different, or changing requirements. So flexible organizations, they operate with short lead times. They are responsive to special customer requests and also can adapt rapidly to unexpected events. So flexibility requires investment in information and also automated production and logistics technologies. When companies are competing on delivery, it means that they have to consistently deliver on time and in the correct quantity. So fast, reliable delivery requires the reduction of order cycle time and also the elimination of variability. So for example, Zalora, they sell a lot of products to end customers, so they have to make sure that they deliver on time and also at the correct quantity. Delivery capability is cross-functional by nature, requiring coordinated efforts by these entities: the sourcing, operations, and logistics department. So operations and logistics often represent 90% of the total order cycle time. It means that these departments are the ones responsible to make sure that the order cycle time is as accurate as possible. Next, we look at competing on innovation. So innovation creates new markets and changes industry standards. So we have here early supplier involvement, which is a key element of innovation strategies. So when companies want to create something new, a new product, for example, they can have the suppliers' involvement in order to come out with an innovative product. So a study showed that leading innovators in the auto industry that implement ESI in the product development process achieved 1/3 of the reduction in man hours and also 4 to 5 months of shorter lead times. This slide talks about the traditional way of thinking where we think values as trade-off. So the first example here is on high quality was inherently expensive. So we perceive high quality products as being expensive compared to low quality products which are lower cost. Another example of a trade-off is standardization and customization. So they are also at the opposite ends of a continuum. Next example is about rapid delivery reduces flexibility. So if you have rapid delivery, you will have reduced flexibility. So this is the traditional way of thinking, more of a trade-off. Compared to if we were thinking of the new way of thinking, a contemporary way of thinking, it's more of a synergy. So the first point here is that managers now seek synergy along all dimensions of customer value. So customer value in this case, we mean innovation, delivery, cost, quality, and flexibility. So systematically addressing each results in a stronger, more sustainable, competitive position. So what this slide is trying to explain to us is that when we address values as working together synergistically, okay, we are able to obtain sustainable competitive position. So we'll move on to learning objective 3, which is understanding nature of customer service and satisfaction. So customer satisfaction is based on whether a good or service meets or exceeds the customer's priori expectation. Okay, so the key to satisfying customers is to understand their needs so that unique products and services can be developed. So we want to create satisfaction, and this should be the goal of company's culture and structure. Okay, so let's look at this diagram. We have on top here customer expectation. Okay, and we have on the left side here, we have the customer's actual experience. So we have a scenario here, 3 scenarios. The first scenario, the customer's experience is lower than their expectation. So when this happens, there is dissatisfaction. When there is dissatisfaction, the customer would not buy. The second scenario, experience equal to expectation. So the customer is satisfied. When they are satisfied, they will buy. The third scenario, if experience is more than expectation, so they have a strong satisfaction, and when you have a strong satisfaction, they will repeat purchase. So this is what most companies are looking for, strong satisfaction. So in this example, on Xerox, they mentioned about importance of complete satisfaction. Complete, ultimate satisfaction. So Xerox found that customers who rated their service experience as largely satisfied were 6 times more likely to defect or to go to a competitor than those who were completely satisfied. So repeat business occurs when service experience is comparable to competitors. Loyalty is also achieved when customers perceive truly distinctive service. So in this case, when Xerox is able to completely satisfaction of customers, the customers won't go to a competitor. So in terms of customer loyalty, why is loyalty important? It's because that it leads to a profitable repeat business. So in this diagram, we know that loyalty is important, and for companies to really understand what the customers want, okay, they need to identify those values that customers perceive are important. So here we have customer service strategies. The traditional customer service focus on internal service levels and goals. Okay, so before this, when we talk about customer service, they will, or organizations would look at their percent defective products, percent on-time delivery, and also fill rate. Fill rate is percent of products ordered that are actually delivered. So all these measures are basically internal measures. So without feedback, it is easy to emphasize activities that the customers do not value. Frankly, if you wanted to buy any kind of product, you would not really emphasize on percent defective products and these 2 other measures. Okay, so that's why there exists a service gap. This slide explains about customer satisfaction strategies. So customer satisfaction strategies require direct input from a customer. So there are several questions that can be addressed to customers which include how do important customers define quality, on-time delivery, responsiveness, and other key value areas. The second one, are our internal measures consistent with customers' measures? The third one, does our current performance meet our customers' requirements? And last one, would an improvement in our performance be valued by our customers? Okay, so all these questions are basically trying to understand what the customer wants. So customer input allows managers to align measures to customer expectations. It also allocates resources and re-evaluates priorities, and also allows us to adopt new policies or practices if needed. So information is typically gathered from surveys, focus groups, or in-depth interviews. Next, we have here customer success strategies. So a CEO of Tampella mentioned that we turn our customers into winners. Their success is cash in our bank. Our customer is our most important partner in cooperation. His customer benefits from this as well. So it seems that it is a win-win situation when you help your customers. Okay, so here, customer success strategies use supply chain knowledge to help customers become more competitive. The more successful customers become, they will gain more market share and grow. When they grow, we grow. So for example, in a supply chain, we have the supplier and manufacturer relationship. So as a supplier, their customers are manufacturers. Okay, so when in this context, when we talk about customers, we are not referring to end customer. We're referring to the customer directly that we deal with. So in terms of supplier-manufacturer relationship, the customer of the supplier are the manufacturers, right? So when suppliers help manufacturers, manufacturers will benefit. The suppliers will also benefit because it's a win-win situation. Okay, so success strategies consist of, number one, a clearly communicated goal to help customers succeed. Number two, a clear understanding of downstream requirements. Number three, investment in customer valued capabilities. Number four, training provided to customers. Number five, resources shared with customers. So as a whole here, you need to understand when we talk about customer success strategies, the relationship between supplier and manufacturer, they have this cooperation and collaboration relationship. Okay, so they help each other. That's why it's a win-win situation. Okay, so we've gone through three strategies. We have customer service, which is focus meeting internally set expectations. So we mentioned about internal measures only. Okay, it may not be necessarily what the customer wants. And then we have customer satisfaction strategies, which meet customer-driven expectations. And then the most advanced kind of strategy, which is customer success, it helps customers to meet their customers' needs. Okay, so this is a more holistic strategy. Next, we move on to learning objective number 4, why the end customer should be the focal point of the entire supply chain. So the end customer is the only one who puts money into the supply chain and is therefore the focus of all activities. So successful companies share information that helps the chain to focus on the end customer. So here we have another strategy, which is customer fulfillment strategy. So customer fulfillment strategies seek to address what are the real needs of our immediate customers. What are the real needs of our customer's customer? So when we talk about supplier, the customer which is immediate to the supplier is manufacturer. The customers of supplier would be distributor. Okay, so we have supplier supplies to manufacturer. manufacturer will supply to distributor. Okay, so the supplier, customer is the distributor, right? The third one, what are the real needs of our supply chains and customer? So this is focusing on your end customer. Number 4, what information must be shared up and down the supply chain to meet these customers' needs? Next one, what capabilities must be developed up and down the supply chain to meet these customers' needs? And how can we help other supply chain members improve the overall chain's customer fulfillment capabilities? Okay, the next strategy is customer-centric fulfillment. So managers should consider 2 facts when developing processes to match the right kinds of and level of service to specific customers. So we need to understand that not all customers are equal and they do not all deserve the same high level of service. Not all customers require the same service. So for example, in this case, we have bank accounts. So there are different bank accounts available. You have those specifically for businesses, and you have those specifically for individuals. Okay, so they service different kinds of customers in this case. In the next learning objective, we're going to talk about segmentation. So segment customers based on strategic importance. So we're going to match our strategy to customer needs. So you need to have 3 types of analysis: customer, supply chain, and competency analysis. So other than doing the customer, supply chain analysis and competency analysis, we also need to define and communicate customer success factors, define relationship intensity, establish appropriate processes and systems, and also periodically re-evaluate the whole analysis in order for us to identify what are the actual customer needs and how can the supply chain meet those needs. Okay, so in terms of customer analysis, we're going to identify customer needs, helping management to segment customers. So what is customer segmentation? It's the identification of unique groups of customers who possess similar needs, allowing the development of products and systems necessary to fulfill the needs of different customer groups. So in a supply chain analysis, we identify the end customer's needs and we try to match that with the capabilities that we have in our supply chain. So customer success factors are capabilities that first-tier customers need to satisfy their downstream customers. For competency analysis, a core competency is something that the company does so well as to provide it as a competitive advantage. So 2 questions can help us identify what is a core competency, what are our core competencies. First one, what are we known for that makes us uniquely good? And what do we do better than anyone else? So in this diagram, we are trying to define relationship intensity. So relationship intensity can be categorized as follows. A are those customers who are valued and receive the highest service from us. B are customers that we should manage carefully, as in future they can be the A customers. Okay, so that's why we need to take care of them carefully. C customers should be managed fairly and efficiently. Okay, so as you can see here, C are the ones on the right side. Okay, even though they do not receive higher service, but they still need to be managed fairly as they are still our customers. Okay, so we have this 80-20 rule where we should understand which customers give us most profits. Okay, so 80% of sales are generated by about 20% of all customers. So this 20% is what we call A customers that we really need to take care of, because they are the ones that we have most sales from. Okay, here we have three types of relationship: customer of choice, highly valued, and transaction. Okay, so customer of choice relationship, we have a select number of A customers whose needs the company is well positioned to fulfill. Okay, so these are the priority customers that we need to really take care of. So when we have customer of choice relationship, it is usually characterized through this. The first one, we have frequent communication. We have inter-organizational teams so that we can work together. Next, we have information systems are linked so that we have real-time information exchange. Okay, and then we have fulfillment processes are designed for flexibility to accommodate any special requests. And then we also have policies and procedures support extraordinary efforts to meet unexpected needs or unusual requests. So you can see that these A select customers are very special to the company. So next we have highly valued relationships, where it is many A's and most B's. Their characteristics are as follows. Customer input is actively sought and utilized to meet express expectations. We have a dedicated customer account teams. Information systems are a way to share information. And we have policies and procedure acknowledge the importance of these customers. And we take care of them because members of this group often become tomorrow's customer of choice. They can be kira upgraded okay, to customer of choice relationship in future. So that's why we need to take care of them as well. Next, we have transaction relationship, comprised of C customers. They receive little personal attention, leading companies to strive for high levels of standardized service excellence. Okay, so we still service them, but in a standardized way. No customization. Service recovery is used to regain confidence of customers when service failures occur. All right, so still take care of them, but in a different way. In the last learning objective, we're going to discuss the role of operational excellence in assuring profitable customer relationships. So there are two methods here companies can use to evaluate customer relationships. The first one, activity-based costing, which ties specific costs directly to the customers that create them and can be used to identify the profitability of a business relationship. So basically, using activity-based costing, you identify those customers who provide higher profits to the organization, and you decide what kind of relationship you want to have with them. The second method is customer relationship management, where there's a software that you can use to create customer profiles that capture buying habits and also determine customer profitability. So by having the profile, you understand which customer would be relevant for you to take extra care of. Okay, this slide explains about barriers to customer fulfillment. Okay, companies may seek to improve service levels, but direct their efforts toward the wrong activities. So for example, when organizations are too focused on internal measures, which the customers don't care about, okay, so they're putting their efforts towards the wrong activities. Some companies may fail to deliver on their promises to be customer service oriented. And then the third point here, access to information has led some companies to provide low service levels to less valuable customers. So that's why it is important for you to have the right information for you to make a decision on customer segmentation. Okay, here are several reasons why companies fail to deliver on customer fulfillment. Number one, here we have on training. employees do not know how their behavior and performance affects customer perceptions. Okay, so this has something to do with employees having lack of training. Next, we have on measurement. Measures do not reinforce appropriate attitudes and behavior towards customers. Okay, so if the employees are not measured based on what customers really care about, so it does not reinforce or it does not make them act the way they're supposed to when they serve customers. Next, we have empowerment. Employees do not have authority to solve problems and respond to customer needs. So this is a major problem, mostly when we call customer service lines. For example, we mentioned that we have a problem, but they always try to transfer us to someone else, and our problem doesn't get solved because they do not have the authority to solve the problem. The last one here, policies. Policies and procedures are inflexible and often run counter to real service and satisfaction. So this is more about having red tape, many procedures that affects our satisfaction. Alright, so that's all for this chapter.